the one-mule trope, a different take on a familiar story.
Are you ready?
She nodded, glad to hear his voice again, wondering why he suddenly seemed so unsure of himself.
The place where we're going, is it far?
No, but we don't have time to walk. Have you ever ridden a mule?
No, only horses. I've heard mules are aggressive and hard to train.
Garrick led her into the cold outside, walking briskly toward the livery, noting, despite her small size, that she had no trouble keeping up.
Maybe so, but mules don't spook as easily. They're also sure-footed and not afraid of heights.
Brenna waited as he vanished into the dark stable. She felt a little uncomfortable when he reappeared leading a single animal with a back blanket and no saddle, irrationally worried that he might take advantage of close proximity in a way that she was not yet ready to handle. Garrick interpreted her uncertain posture and facial expression as disgust. Worried that she wouldn't want to be close to him, the cadet shuffled his feet nervously.
The quartermaster told me that one will have to do. You can ride, I'll jog alongside.
Knowing that she could likely outrun both him and the mule, Brenna shook her head and replied with a shy smile.
It's okay. Just respectfully.
Garrick's heart raced. He felt weak inside.
Let me help you up.
Brenna didn't like being patronized.
I'm not fragile, and I'm not an invalid.
Almost effortlessly, she put her hands on the mule's back, bent her strong legs, and in a single, gracile leaping motion, swung her leg over its back. Impressed with how easy she'd made that look, he nervously pulled himself up and sat behind her. In silence, the two rode past the inn's proud gate and turned northward along the windswept Ceradon Road. Tension rose as she worried he'd let his hands wander to her breasts once they were alone. Other men she'd known could barely wait for an opportunity like this, but Garrick constrained his obvious desire. Favorably impressed with his self-control, the young woman smiled, savoring the passing moments in silence, feeling safe in his company and grateful for his well-disciplined conduct. As they settled into the steady rhythm of the mule's stride, Brenna leaned into Garrick's chest and shoulders, turned her head to look at him, and broke the silence.
Are you upset at me?
No, not at all. Why do you ask?
The Lithian woman sensed that he wasn't speaking truthfully, but given that his trembling hands remained on the reins, she felt sufficiently confident to broach her concern about their communication breakdown.
I ask because you're acting like I've done something wrong. I've considered my conduct in your company, but can't recall saying or doing anything offensive. You were really nice to me at first, but you changed at breakfast.
While Garrick feared her rejection, he found the young woman so alluring he took a risk.
You're beautiful, and I can't stop thinking about you. I see your image in my mind whenever I shut my eyes.
An expression of sadness and disappointment crossed her wind-burned face. Brenna felt confident in her beauty, but she wanted him to appreciate more than her pretty face and feminine form.
So, your interest in me is purely physical?
He, seeing the change in her countenance and correctly interpreting what it meant, summoned his eloquence.
No, not entirely. It's a lot more nuanced than that. Right now it's hard to get past your appearance, but the more time I spend in your company, the more fascinating I find you. From the moment we met, you've been consistently courteous. You've treated me as an equal, even though I'm a nobody and you come from the family rich enough to raise its own army. There's never any conceit in your voice when you speak. Everything I've seen you do is steeped in kindness. You always listen, even when we don't agree. You're refreshingly smart, well-read, and the way you look at the world reflects nobility of character. I've known enough people to understand that these qualities are rare.
Brenna felt better about his explanation, but it didn't answer her initial question satisfactorily.
Then why did you become so short with me this morning? What did I do?
You've done nothing,
he replied a little sadly, hoping she wouldn't pounce on his vulnerability.
It's just that you belong to someone else and I shouldn't want you like I do. It's not right for me to feel this way. I wish I'd never touched you because now I know what it's like and no one else will ever do.
Experience the rest of the romance and adventure for yourself in The Edge of Justice, the epic first novel of the Devon Conflict series. Get your copy today at www.newadventure.ca/books. It's adventure for your mind and romance for your heart.